Previously on Search for Hurt. Only 10 hours after the Search for Hurt team ran 100 kilometres, they were flown to Melbourne to meet their mentor, who helped them understand the rigours of the upcoming 48-hour adventure race. We're back in Leah's Iron Edge home gym, and Matt's getting her ready for the upcoming event.
So, next event is GeoQuest. 48 hours of adventure racing.
The longest thing I've ever done. It's just going to be epic.
First one, mountain climber, but on the Dynamax ball to create more instability. So hands are on the side of the ball. We start, and we've got to make sure the core's set nice and tight. Okay, I don't want this, nice and tight, knee to elbow. But I don't want you twisting side to side either. So it's straight here.
Stability mountain climber. Utilising the Dynamax ball will increase instability in the core, therefore making the exercise more challenging.
We move straight to the dead ball overhead backward lunge. Okay, so the ball comes up, ball goes overhead, streamline position. We step set, down, back up.
Dead ball overhead backward lunge. Similar to the backward lunge by adding the load over the head and hands in a streamlined position, therefore making the body work even harder.
Keeping with the trend of this whole stability issue, okay, because this is what's going to get you through it, we're going to start a single leg balancing drill with a row. I'm going to balance on the opposite leg, because what I'm not allowed to do is let the hip kick out to the side as I do this. Okay, we want to keep that glute squeezed, eyes forward, and we simply do a light row.
The stability band row. By standing on one leg opposing the pulling arm, will create an environment experienced while ski paddling in an unstable watercraft.
Last one that I'll take you through for GeoQuest, core related. I'm sure you know it, it's just going to be a lateral prone hold.
Lateral prone hold. Stability and strength through the shoulder and also the side oblique and the glute.
But to change sides, there'll be no rest. Move to a prone hold or a plank, then change straight to the other side. If this fatigues, then we'll start to get hips involved, loose hips. Then if we have loose hips, ITBs will play up, knees will play up, ankle will play up, shins will play up. Okay, vice versa to the upper body as well. It's going to be a long day, GeoQuest. Sorry, a long 2 days.
Being such a potentially dangerous event, the GeoQuest needs a team of 4 in case of serious injuries when you're stuck in the middle of nowhere. So once again, we've hunted 2 new recruits from Search for Hurt's inaugural HurtCamp. First, we have Adam Clark and Marley Mackay, looking a little different. We find another Hurt camper, Andrea Peebles, who was part of the team during the Mont 24 race, and she loves adventure racing.
Are you guys running for like a certain time? Is that what you're
We want to be back. We don't want to go 2 nights.
Oh, weekends.
Okay.
You
No, like 35 hours is kind of, yeah.
Is your
what we
cut
wanna
off
do.
mark?
Yeah.
Cool, that's
Yeah.
sweet. Well, we couldn't tell you what we want.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say. We would like to finish.
Are you a navigator? Who's the main navigator?
You are the main navigator.
Why am I the main navigator?
Navigation, man.
Just have alcohol in it.
The team go home and are given 12 hours to study the map and prepare for this epic adventure.
So, it's going to be an epic adventure. Looking forward to being back with the guys and being part of it. It's going to be good.
What happened to your hair, Marley? Is the mohawk, fella?
Oh man, you know, like that
Time to
mohawk's
change.
bit high maintenance, bit too much effort. I used about half a can of hairspray just for HurtCamp.
It's the morning of the GeoQuest.
I'm thinking I'll be pretty strong on the mountain biking, and I've done kayaking before, so
Navigation scares the absolute bejesus out of me. Never used the compass before. The biking should be okay, and other than that, we'll just go with the flow.
Woo. To be honest, their faces, they're a little bit scared, and so they should be. Yeah, they don't know what they're in for. It's going to be awesome.
With that in mind, the team are off to their hardest challenge yet. The team will start the race with a 20-kilometre bike ride. Once they hit checkpoint 1, they'll split up into pairs and search for 9 extra checkpoints. From there, they'll get back onto their bikes and ride for 22 kilometres until hitting checkpoint 3. From here, they'll trek 11 kilometres, their longest trekking leg of the race. They'll then hit checkpoint 4, which will put them back on the bikes for 30 kilometres before then reaching checkpoint 5. This will give them more trekking to do, but this time they'll stay together. This is another 8 kilometres. Once completed, they'll be back on their bikes for 17 kilometres, which will then bring them to their first kayaking leg, checkpoint 7. This will be 10 kilometres. That will then bring them to checkpoint 8, which will deliver their longest leg of the race, 45 kilometres of rough terrain on the mountain bikes. If they make it through that, it will give them 15 kilometres more kayaking at checkpoint 9. Finally, it's checkpoint 10, which will finish this mammoth race off with an 11-kilometre trek. All this around a 250-kilometre scenic circuit of the New South Wales North Coast. If you're wondering how soon things can go wrong in an adventure race, then I suggest you stay tuned. The team has started the epic GeoQuest 48-hour adventure race. The first leg is a bike ride.
So they've started at the front of the pack at the GeoQuest. But quickly they just started filtering back through the field because they're not adventure races. They shouldn't be leading out.
Yeah, we've only got 47 hours and 45 minutes to go. It's all about survival. Exactly right.
So we're riding along the road and hit our first trail. From bitumen right onto fire trail, and before you knew it,
Flat. Yeah, flat.
it was unbelievable. We had been riding for like literally 5 minutes. We were just at the beginning of the race.
With me being probably the only one with a bit of mountain bike experience, I was straight onto the fixing the puncher, and already we're 20 minutes down.
Get a punctured tyre! 10 minutes in, first puncher! Woo!
first few checkpoints, we actually, sort of the first thing we did was ride way too far. There was like a road on a map, and we were supposed to turn off like sort of a third of the way up the road. We actually rode all the way to the end where the road ended, and had to backtrack heaps.
So we hooked to the left there. If we go backtrack, we'll go back.
So we've got to hit Tea Tree Lane and then go up and then follow it.
30 minutes into the race, the team isn't doing so well. They've already had 2 major setbacks and are way behind.
Ended up going onto a track that was really heavy sand. This was just something that was really going to test us.
Even a good rider such as Marley hits the deck. This is no stroll in the park.
It was that hard to get your tyre into the sand and to track your way through.
If they're searching for hurt, this is certainly planting the seed.
Riding a push bike in sand, there's only one surefire way to get through sand when you're riding, and that's speed is your best friend. But as soon as you start to go slow in sand, well, things don't really happen.
The team arrive at the first checkpoint almost 2 hours after the start of the race. Their earlier mishaps have put them from first place to last place for this leg.
So what happened was my handlebars bent right back when I was coming around a real sharp corner, and ever since then I've been like trying to reach for the gears like this, and my hands been like that. But Alex is fixing them up, so let's get it started.
So I've got my nipple rash device here, which is the tape. Whilst the legs and everything else might get fatigued, for me, the nipple rash is by far one of the worst things you can get. So just tape them up. Burns a little bit when you get off, but it's much better than seeing the blood running down through your shirt in about 3 hours' time.
So we've got to split up now. So we've got to split up into teams of 2. We've got 2 runners and 2 swimmers because there's 2 checkpoints out in the ocean, in the bay. It's a pretty decent swim, so it's 800 metres. So what we've done is we've just split up. Sort of Pap and I are gonna run. We're just going to stick with our strengths really here because we don't want to burn out and see if we can't get lost.
They're about to head off, and in total there's 9 mini checkpoints in this orienteering leg.
Come on, guys, I've already finished this leg.
Oh, no way.
Let's go. Come on.
Leah bumps into their mentor, Jared Kohler, but there's no time for advice today. They're on their own.
We've coming up on this trail, which is wrapping around a beautiful headland.
It's supposed to sort of just be like a 5 or 6k round trip.
All right, so Marley and I have been trekking to find this first checkpoint.
We probably didn't do much more than 5 or 6k's, but it took us like 2.5 hours.
We've been going so well. We've been referencing the map. You know, the first checkpoint's gonna be 20 minutes off the south side of the track. We're looking and we can't find, so we don't want to waste too much time. But man, this is the daytime. This is our first checkpoint. Imagine when it's gonna be like 30 hours in the middle of the night.
We can see 20 metres in south. Imagine when we can't see, a few feet.
Yeah.
So this is pretty serious stuff.
The team are now realising there might be trouble ahead. With the local lifeguard checking for exhausted swimmers, Adam and Leah seem to be going well.
Cool, so we've got the 2 checkpoints. The boys are out getting the other 4 out here, and we've got another 3 to get. 1, 2, 3 here now. So, ready?
Hurry, but hustle.
Righto, let's go.
2 down, 2 more to go. We've got this.
We got the first couple of checkpoints and we're feeling really good. We're helping other teams out, like, oh, checkpoints this way, guys, and got a bit cocky, I think.
Marley and I both decided to cut trail, bare right, straight up to the top of this mountain, top of the feature. And we're thinking, oh, that will save us 2k, save some time. And I haven't lost faith yet. Let's cut track, get up to the top of this mountain. We've got this. We don't even need the trail. We're experts. This is our first time. Yeah, that's the last time we'll ever do that again. We learned a valuable lesson from the very start, leg 2. So I think that's very important. We were leopard crawling, seriously pushing through bush, trying to get through. I got cuts and blood all over my legs, and we quickly found out cutting trail, if you're inexperienced, is a bad idea. And now, instead of cutting track again, we're gonna follow the trails and be good boys. Oh yeah. Because we definitely found some hurt in that half an hour of scrub lamb.
Running into the transition area, thinking, okay, Marley and Pap, they've got to be there. They have to be back by now.
What you do is Pap and Marley.
They're not back?
No, they weren't. They've gone a lot further down, but we had to go right out to the peak. I can't believe they're not back.
That's 3 hours, 45 minutes.
Yeah, we won't cut track anymore.
Done well, yeah. We're going to stick to those trails. They're a lot nicer on our knees.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got back to the other guys who finished the swim in their checkpoints, and then we had a bit of food and we headed off. So after the swim and the trek running, we got back on the bikes and we took off, we sailed off. We had a lot of speed behind us. We had the racing mentality, not the navigation mentality, and that's where we went wrong.
After the team left checkpoint 2, their goal was to head directly north. Sounds simple, right?
So right here now, so we go
all the way back up the top.
Well, if navigation isn't your forte, then no, it's not. For some reason, the team went west and hit a riverbank. So they rode back and went south until realising their job was simply to go north.
Which we missed the checkpoint again, had to backtrack that, and after all wasting that time, okay guys, we really need to sort out our mentality here. We're not trying to race, we're not competing, we're not going to win, but we have to try and get this done within the 48 hours.
The team once again are back on track, heading towards their next major checkpoint. This time they stay on the right path, but once again they're met with the notorious soft sand. As Matt mentioned earlier, speed is the only way to beat the sand at its game.
Go Marley!
The sand's consistency is thick, and the bike's momentum makes it a very wobbly ride.
Give it some, Pap.
But as we all know, the big guy has had plenty of bike practice throughout the series. Taking wrong turns and the soft sand has slowed them down dramatically, taking 3 hours since the last checkpoint. We found out it only took their mentor Jared Kolar's team an hour and a half.
And we're about to set off to our next checkpoint, which is 8Ks. It's an 8K trek.
There was this one big hill and we were supposed to be going up the left of it, and we found that we were actually walking down to the beach.
We ended up being on the eastern side close to the beach, and we all had a bad feeling about it, so we had to, so what happened was here.
The guys have had to deal with, I guess, night activities during Search for Hurt in previous events. But add in the extra fatigue, because mind you, this is a 48-hour event, and also the ability to have to navigate.
We're not going down this beach fire trail, so we had to turn around, backtrack it.
And paddle. Well, all those things culminating together are just a recipe for disaster.
Happy. So we're cruising along. So just many of our coordinates checked now as it's dark, as we just keep to make sure that we're going the right way so we don't lose any more time from making the wrong decision. So we're working well as a team now. The last couple of hours we've made some good progress, and this is why. Just checking the coordinates every few Ks.
The team has now been racing for almost 12 hours. Unfortunately, they're still in last place. The team want nothing more than to gain some sort of a win. They ride for just under 3 hours to reach the rafting activity.
A long mountain bike haul in front of us. We have to build our own raft, put all 4 of us on there and all 4 bikes and everything else, get across a 250-meter channel without getting wet. Apparently this is going to take 9 hours, and the way everything's been going for us, we'll see you on Thursday.
Now our mentor, Jared, supplied us with the necessary tools to get across this river, this checkpoint where teams had to rock up, assemble together some sort of flotation device to take 4 mountain bikes, all their equipment and themselves safely, without getting wet, across the river. Now Jared supplied us with these 6 tyres, these 6 tubes which you blow up and we tie them together, and surely that's going to work out. He's the champion, of course. This is going to be fun. We didn't even consider it. So we rocked up cold. It was like in the middle of the night. The guy at the checkpoint's been waiting for us. I think we were about 6 hours behind everybody else. And he saw us hopelessly trying to blow up these tubes with this little foot pump.
So we've got 6 tubes, got 2 pumps, got 2 hard-working Search for Hurters.
That's it.
And we're sitting there for half an hour and it was going nowhere, and everyone's just laughing, because if you don't laugh, you cry. We're like, how are we meant to put this together and not get wet and somehow find our way in this pitch black darkness across this freezing water?
Can't make it easy on us.
And they're not really pumping up very quickly.
Lucky we're competing for first place.
After the break, the team are forced to make a tough decision.
We've got to make sure he's okay. We're like, how are we meant to put this together and not get wet and somehow find our way in this pitch black darkness across this freezing water?
This is how the experienced racers arrange their raft to take everything you have with you, including your bikes. Let's see what our team came up with.
We've constructed delicately. All 4 of us have to go in here with 4 bikes and all that gear.
So when you were like, it's not going to happen, we're going to fall in the water, we're going to hypothermia, we're going to call it quits.
Falling in the water and staying cold as long as these guys are racing isn't a good idea.
There was one man who seemed to come and find us.
Not sure if this is in the rules.
Right? Yep. You end up on a
He was so excited to see GeoQuest runners.
They managed to convince someone to help them across the river 2 at a time. I think the team will take anything they can get.
And he ended up feeling sorry for us and ended up taking us through. But the funniest thing was that he's the guy doing the checkpoint. He should know exactly what's going on. And it took him so long to get Leah and Marley from our side to the other side. And that just reconfirmed how actually screwed we were if we had to do it by ourselves. Whether he couldn't find it, we definitely couldn't find it.
Leah and Marley went off first and left Pap and I together to spend some quality time whilst we were waiting.
Brokeback GeoQuest going on here.
The 2 of us lying in these rubber tubes, gazing up at the stars.
nearly whispering sweet nothings to each other. It was quite the team bonding moment.
After riding 3.5 hours since the rafting activity, the team has made it to the base of the hill where the next checkpoint is located.
Okay, so we have to get on trek, pretty mountainous, harsh area, which we've been told.
We were in bad sorts. Adam had a busted up back, my knees were hurting, everyone was tired, and we were thinking,
We're expected to be at the township to do the kayaking in 2 hours and 40 minutes.
we've got about 10 hours worth of work in front of us. We were seeing these experienced people come down the hill looking like they've been through hell and back. So we had to make the choice, do we stop here and turn around, or do we keep going?
I started to worry that we were poorly prepared if anything did go wrong. Adam had showed signs of having an injured back as we'd left the ford in our previous checkpoint, and it was only getting worse.
And the predicament that we're in is that the checkpoints we skipped, one of them completing a task would give you the map of the area we're in at the moment. So right now we're taking the guessing games. The whole, massive area.
We didn't have a map. We didn't finish the checkpoint. What do? We were just going off nothing. Looking at the stars, we had no idea. So we ended up going towards a boat ramp at the ocean. That makes perfect sense, except it was the wrong boat ramp. We were meant to be by the lake.
So we're in Scott's Head. We're actually on the other side of where the checkpoint is. The guys have missed their orienteering checkpoint and they've come to the other side of the checkpoint. We have no idea where they are, so we're actually going to go and find them.
We were in all sorts of pain. We were cold, we were hungry. We were so busy worrying about where to go, we forgot to eat, we forgot to drink. We came to a point where we huddled together like we were stranded. We had all our clothes on us and we all just started to fall asleep. Unfortunately, Adam didn't get any sleep because his back was hurting.
Adam is suffering a lot of back pain, and the team made a choice not to go any further until help arrives.
We'd been sleeping for about an hour and a half, and then I thought I heard some voices. Definitely heard people running. Had a look out of the safety blanket, support crew.
How are we going, guys? Oh, freezing! And we're just sitting there going, oh my gosh, what have we got ourselves into? What do you guys want to do? We've got to make sure he's okay.
Yep.
Adam Clark has suffered an injury to his back. Things are looking very grim. The team may soon only consist of 3. Next time on Search for Hurt.
Silly mistake, really tired, under fatigue.
They're left to dig deep, making it harder than ever to push on. Can they actually finish the GeoQuest? And Matt reveals another event. And for some training, Pap hits the snow with a ski cross Olympian. It seems impossible, but somehow these sessions keep getting harder.
Yes. I need to take my pants off.
Yeah.